Uh, sometimes sometimes you may think or feel like, oh, how did this person get to this place today? Is it possible that I can get to this place? Or maybe this guy is not ordinary. He just have something too extraordinary that I can't necessarily achieve, right? We're going to see in the conversation today how we can achieve this possibility, all right? Seeing from their experience, seeing from their challenges, seeing from the difficulties that they've faced themselves, and definitely to the place where they are right now. We're going to see through their experiences. So I'll be asking some very tangent and beautiful questions. We'll also be giving you opportunity to ask your questions, so you can start taking note of the questions now. By the time we're ready to get your questions, we're going to let you know and we'll get your questions across to us. So let's engage. So Mr. Sam, that is here with us currently. Um, I'm just quickly going to go through his bio. Or do we have it? Do we have it recorded?
Yeah, we do have it recorded, but like, we
No
can
problem.
just.
No problems. Let me just go through from here. So Mr. Sam Adebayo is a personal brand coach and the founder of Content Influence, dedicated to helping professionals build impactful online presence, while backed by intensive experience as a professional video editor. Interesting. Samuel's true passion lies at the intersection of technology, AI, and digital media. You would see him doing exactly amazing things around the media space, right? This unique perspective is sharpened by 8 years, guys, 8 years of military service, giving Samuel a distinguished blend of strategic discipline and creative insight. As a tech enthusiast and dedicated personal brand coach, he's focused on leveraging cutting-edge tools and platforms to help others craft and control their personal narrative and reputation online. Give it up for our delightsome speaker, Mr. Samuel Adebayo. Can we please appreciate and celebrate him this morning? Mr. Sam, you're highly welcome.
Thank you very much, Coach Joshua. Thank you very, very much. Excited to have another wonderful time with us this morning, not tonight, this morning.
Yeah, this morning.
Yeah,
I guess the night vibe has been on, so
yeah. It has been
yeah,
exciting, actually. It has been
yeah.
exciting.
So I have a couple of questions here. I'm going to start just effectively. I believe there are many persons that have been thinking in their minds, these guys are just too extraordinary, and I don't really know how did they get to this place. And I would like to get deeply into your beginning process and your starting process. Would you say you have a clue that you'd be extraordinary, you'd be different, you'd be special, you'd be at this place where you are right now today? Or should I say, what was the very first clue you had that your life would turn out this way?
Well, thank you very much, Joshua, for that. Um, First of all, I am not as much different than any one of us around here. Why I'm saying that is because most of the things that we face through are things that some people are facing through right now. So, like, there is a lot of similarities. The only difference is the time and the experience that have been put into getting to where we are. And funny enough, we are like still in the beginning in our own eyes. So, and when I started off in anything, I didn't know what to do. That's the
Mm,
truth. I remember when I wanted to start making a sense of my life, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have an idea of what to do. So what happened during the peak of my life when I started was, I think, 2019, 2020, around that COVID period. 2020, 2021, around that COVID period. I wanted to do something. I knew that, okay, there's a potential, and it is painful for you to know that you have a potential but not know how to express it. And
mm,
most of us
mm,
are in that state at which we have that feeling like, oh boy, I need to do something. There's something better that I can execute, but we don't know how to execute it. And that was what was happening to me at the beginning. I wanted to do something and I didn't know what to do. So what I did was to reach out to someone. And the person I reached out to is who I call my mentor. Also, like, he's married to my sister at the same time, so he's my brother-in-law, but he's also my mentor because he has spent 15 plus years in the tech space. I knew him in the tech space since 2013. And that time he was going to churches to teach them programming. Like, you go to church, gather the youths in the church and teach them programming that time. So I was one of the people that he taught programming back 2013. And I was one of the people that excelled very well in, like, I was very young. I outdid all the other adults that were with me during that period. And one of the things, so because of that, when I reached out to him again, and he not told me, bro, like, you are good in tech. You are good. Like, I saw, like, according to, like, he saw my huge potential in tech and around the digital space. I was like, what are you thinking? Like, why are you thinking twice about what you need to start with your life? Go into tech. And the reason he could advise me on that is because, number one, he saw what my drive was. Because I remember back then when I started programming, I was so excited about programming. My dad bought me my first laptop, a 30,000 naira laptop. Nowadays, you don't find those kind of laptops. I was so excited about it. The essence that as a young boy, I was still in secondary school as of then, but as a young boy, I used to have sleepless nights. If I just make a text move on my website, on the website, I'll come and show my mom. I'll be like, Mommy, see, I made this text move. So, like, the whole enthusiasm was there. And I couldn't recognize it myself. I needed someone to recognize it for me. And I was glad that I was able to find someone to reach out to. And I think the truth is that a lot of us might be in that stage that we are struggling to even discover our own potential. And sometimes it is very good for you to reach out to people that, number one, they know you, and number two, they have the experience. If you don't have people that know you and have the experience, you can reach out to people that have the experience and they can discover you. So what happens in those kind of cases is, if you reach out to a mentor, a coach, and be like, sir, I'm trying to figure out something, they will ask you a lot of questions. Okay, what do you want? How do you want it? What do you want for the future? Like, those questions are discoveries. Like, in my own case, they had already discovered my stuff. So, like, coach, I'm very sure there are some people that you've spoken with and you just ask them a few questions and you realize this is what they are meant to be doing. Like,
that's true.
Exactly. So those questions tend to open them up to tell you the things that are inside, and you, because of your experience as a coach, can be able to now say, oh wow, you have huge potential here. You have huge potential here. So I really feel that from my own experience and how I started was all about meeting the right people to be able to get guidance, people that have experience, people that know what they are saying. To get that initial guidance, it might not be the right guidance, but it is enough for you to start. I presently, I'm not a programmer and I don't plan to do programming, but he saw a potential in the tech area, digital space. In his eyes, it was not that clear. You understand? He can't see everything. He can't see the future into my life. But he just felt, just start into this programming. And my knowledge in programming led me to my knowledge in video editing, which led me to my knowledge. Like, it kind of had that chain of events. But you just need that initial fire to start. I think Anthony too had that experience in which he was like, oh, should I do this on graphic design or agriculture? And once you just have that initial spark, it will start leading to chain of events of things that happen. So that was one of the things that helped me to discover. I would say that was discovery and the ability to start something.
Well, thank you so much for the response. I think thing that stood out there is having someone, a mentor around you, the desire definitely, and everything might not be clear at the moment, but with guidance and the starting step, it becomes clearer and better. I want to take us a little bit backwards. Let's zoom into your life. So even before you met your mentor, let's say the primary school days, secondary school days, what did your life look like, and um, who were you really then?
I would say before that period, I tried to like get myself together. Everything was chaos. It was alternate chaos. Like though there was not, I won't say chaos like completely. There was a meaning to everything.
Mm,
Um, I went to a very soft primary school. Let's put it that way. So in
interesting.
Abuja here, but that
Oh wow.
soft primary school was a disadvantage. So it's a huge
Oh, really?
disadvantage. Let me tell you why. The school is a Christian school. Like in Nigeria, we call it like Ajebota school, that kind of thing. Like I know that my dad wanted the best for me. So he put me to the best school that he could afford as of then. But why I say it was a disadvantage is because it made me soft, made me
Mm,
rely on people. Like I needed people to do everything for me. I wanted like
mm,
and I didn't have the capacity to do things for myself. So
oh,
even though my dad had a good like he really meant good, but it's kind of affected me. So what fixed the problem was my secondary school. So I went to a military school. Joshua also went to the same military school as I went to. And
oh,
my first year in military school was chaos. When I mean chaos, I, I like I couldn't phantom discipline. I couldn't phantom them shouting at you. Is a boarding school, like everything around the military school is not is a get. I couldn't speak broken language like pidgin. I still remember vividly that like one of my seniors in the school, they were like, speak pidgin. I couldn't speak pidgin. It was very difficult in as a just one student then for me. So my first term, I told my mom, I'm not going, I'm not doing this thing again. Like, what the heck? I don't want to come back here. Um, my mom was crying because she could see that me, I hated it. But my dad said, let's go.
wow.
So my dad pushed me to continue military school. I didn't want to continue. My dad pushed me. My mom was crying that I'm the only son. We have two girls. So being in that kind of situation that you're the only boy in the house, like you're meant to be like the breadwinner eventually, and I'm the last born for God's sake. So why wouldn't my
Mm,
mom treasure me? So my mom treasured me and she didn't want me to go through. But till today, I thank God for what happened because my secondary school days kind of reshaped my discipline. It it reshaped my discipline and carried me to the hardcore of life. So let's put it like this: when I was in primary school, I was in the soft core of life. I was a good boy.
mm,
Entering secondary school, when I was in primary school, I said I was a good boy. When entering secondary school, as time went on, I started to drift from being the good boy to being like I started to find myself entering chaos. And that chaos carried me to my first being in the military. When I joined military immediately after secondary school. And that chaos went on. So my first 3 years in the military was uttermost chaos. I didn't know what I was doing in my life. I didn't even care what I was doing in my life. I just wanted to explore life. I was going for parties. I used to go and drink, smoke. Like I did every wrong thing that you could think about in the book.
wow.
My first 3 years. And those whole wrong things were also part of the journey of me trying to discover things. Then, like the author of Ecclesiastes will say, meaningless, meaningless, vanity, vanity. At a particular point in my life, I was like, what the heck? Like, what's the use of all this? And
Mm.
the mixture of everything I had gone through in life made me realize that there's no sense in chaos. I need to put things together. And so I really feel that like my beginnings really had a good aspect of like the journey from being a good boy to being a bad boy. Like the mixture of both made me see the realities in, because I'm very sure some of us have not experienced the bad part of life. Some of us are the good boys. Some of us are the good children like that. Um, and you know, in the military is not a place like it has a bad influence. So everyone around me used to smoke. Why like who am I not to smoke? Everyone around me
Wow.
used to do like it felt like I needed to
Wow.
do that. But I discovered myself more by asking questions. Why? Like why am I actually smoking? Why am I drinking? Why am I going for parties? Why am I like why? Like what is the actual reason why? And I realized, oh, I really don't need to do this to get the validity I needed. And in the military, I was one of the youngest. Remember, I said I joined military immediately from secondary school. So among my peers, among the people that were my classmates in the military, I was one
Yeah.
of the youngest. So being the youngest was an advantage. And I decided that, okay, when I started to put my life together, funny enough, I now started to become the mentor and the coach to people that were 10 years older than me,
Oh, wow.
because they started to see me trying to get things together and they were seeing that things were getting better. And it gave me enough. Initially, I was thinking, who am I to advise someone that is older than me? But I realized it's not by age. And thank
Mm.
God, military has established that even seniority is not by age. So when they saw the way I executed some task, it started to give me respect even among my seniors, even among senior officers and all that. So what can you guys learn from this whole thing? It makes you understand that first of all, there's no limitation. You might think that okay, you're too small to be of help or be of. All you need to do is be the right person. What I mean by being the right person, be the Bible that people read. If you and your life is right, people of all ages will be attracted to listen to you. If you can't get your own life right, you can't be able to have the authority to speak to any other person. So, like me, what happened to me in my whole transition and when I started to get things better was it was evident to everyone that this boy knows what he's doing. And
Oh,
it reached a stage in which my commanders were calling me for advice concerning military work.
wow.
And it's not because I know things about military work more, but it was because I had organized thoughts. Like I was able to find myself organizing thoughts into like plans. I'm very sure, Coach, you've seen times that me and you are speaking and
Yeah.
maybe things are scattered and I will not say, okay, no, let's do it like this, let's do it like this. And you'll be like, oh, wow,
Mm.
some of them are great. I'm very good at organizing thoughts into um, actionable steps, like things that can be executed right there. And how I was able to get myself to that stage of being that was writing.
Oh,
I
wow.
write down every single thing in my head. I have a whiteboard in my room. Anything that I have two whiteboards. See another whiteboard here, right here. You can see I don't take chances with writing. I document anything that is needed. I put to paper anything that is needed, thereby giving me more clarity to things. I don't joke with writing out what is in your head because anything that is in your head is chaos. But once it is written down, it starts to make clarity. And me training myself, I think, I don't know where I learned that thing. I learned it from journaling. When I was a child, I used to journal. I think it was my mom that taught me to journal. Like every day, write something about your day. And
Wow.
that journal, I think that was the thing that helped me transit into this clarity of thought. And when you have clarity of thought, you have a huge advantage over 80% of people, because most people know what they want in life, but they don't know how to get there. But you that have clarity of thought, you will eventually become a leader. There's no way, because a leader needs that clarity of thought. So that's one of the things that helped me from my transition from like my beginnings and to where I am right now.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, thinking about this, it seems like there's been a very strong transition in the process in secondary school down into the military and strongly. And you've really shared with us some cardinal things about how your commanders and other seniors and leaders started looking out for you from your process. I would like to ask, how did this affect your confidence about yourself? Because I believe like it's a big deal for many persons here. They feel like I'm not confident enough, I'm not good enough, and little small results I believe should count in their lives. But from your end, how did this affect your confidence?
I had huge confidence, and the reason why I had huge confidence was experience and knowledge. So experience comes by doing something over and over again. And when
Mm,
you've done something over and over again, you normally have confidence in it. If you're a hairstylist and you've done hairstyling over and over again, there's so much confidence that even if they wake me up from sleep, I can still recreate the result. So
mm,
confidence comes from the experience of doing something over and over again and being able to replicate results and success. So if you cannot be able to replicate the result, you won't have confidence. You'll be scared that what if I try it again and it won't work out? But in my own case, where I didn't have experience, I had knowledge.
mm,
I sought knowledge. So I read books. I didn't really read books, actually, funny enough. I watched YouTube videos. So what I mean by YouTube videos, like, that's in the tech space, actually. I think that's one of the things that gave me confidence in tech space. I watched a lot of tutorials and YouTube videos, and I was implementing back to back. So I'll still go into how that gave me confidence in tech space. But like in the military world, experience is not easy to get, because anything that you call experience in the military world means that you've done it by yourself. But my experience, my confidence came from the ability to lead little set of people. So it all started by my commanders did not start reaching out to me first. It was my classmates that started reaching out to me, because now we are in the same level, but I am thinking differently. They will come to my room, they will see me organize. They will they will see that everyone is going out. I'm doing something different. Like I'm doing something different. So they themselves started to ask questions. And now me sharing my experience and the things that I've learned and helping them out gave me a level of confidence. So when I speak to this person and whatever I helped this person with helped his life, he will tell another person. So gradually the news started to spread that okay, Samuel knows what he's doing. So when my commanders were looking for people that were good, they will call out everybody. They'll be like, I'm sorry, who can run this thing? Who do you guys think can do this? All my classmates will point at Samuel. They just call me Adebayo. They'll be like, Corporal Adebayo can do it. Corporal Adebayo can do anything. Corporal Adebayo can do it. So it was word of mouth that reached the confidence, the commander's ears. So if you don't have authority among your peers, don't think about authority among the big guys yet. Think
right.
about the people that you are in quote supposed to be in the same level. Can you be better than them? Can you stand out? Can you do something? they will recognize your goodness. They will recognize how good you are, and the word of mouth will go. So, like in my case, it was, who can do this? Adebayo. Who can do this? Adebayo. And every time they called me out to execute a task, and I did it well, the commander did not need to ask again for, they'll be like, oh, Adebayo can still do this. Adebayo can still do it. No, the disadvantage for me back then was like, they're using me a lot. But as much as they were using me a lot, I was valued. Like, I was valued among my peers. So if they send everybody to do the dirty work, like things that don't make sense, they'll be like, no, Adebayo, we need you for something much more valuable. Like, so that was how I got myself from just being the random guy to being an authority. And once you have authority among the, like, you've proven that you know what you're doing among the big boys, it completely changes the game for you. And authority is very important. So that whole confidence came from, I've done these things for my classmates. I believe I can do it for my seniors. Then when I do it for my seniors and it works, and I replicate the result over and over again, it made it that I kept having that confidence. And the confidence I had before I left military was so much. Like honestly, it was so much. Let me also just shine light in the programming space. I had confidence because of experience. So I didn't know anything about programming, but what I did was I was watching a lot of YouTube videos and I was practicing, and I kept practicing for 3 years. Nobody noticed me. I was doing it on my own. The day that they finally recognized me was still word of mouth. So one of my, it's not even my classmate, my junior, she said Nigerian Air Force headquarters were looking for people that are good in programming. So me, I didn't even know. She now reached out to me. She said, sir, you always do programming. Like, why don't you think you can apply for this? And I was like, oh, okay. Let me reach out and apply. And I applied for it. There were a lot of senior officers that were part of the team that they brought to headquarters, including me. But I was one of the most junior among them. A lot of them were senior officers. I outsmarted all of them because of experience. Because of 3 years that I had spent learning programming and executing it without anybody seeing me,
Wow.
it gave me so much experience to outsmart senior officers that were with me in the same, we were like 20 of us in the same class, to the extent that after the 3 months project that I did for our headquarters, it was my project that was what they call it, that was displayed, not displayed, like they had to call me on the D-Day, they had to call me to present my project to the director. So I stood there as one of the most juniors, but the way I execute, I did a what they call it, a presentation of my project in front of the board of directors. It blew their mind. All the other officers, like, they kept giving me, like, when it reached time to show the directors, they were like, whose project should we use? The senior officers that were in the same course with me, all of them pointed at, no, Adebayo's project. Let's use his own. Let's use, like, he's the one. And I found myself, these are guys, funny enough, I didn't go to university. I don't have a certificate or anything, but these are guys that have certificates in computer science, not just, they have masters in computer science. Some of them have gone to abroad for further courses in computer science, in programming. But the reason why I was able to outsmart them is because they knew the theories, they knew the book. I had the experience because I had been doing it. So they've not been doing it, they just had the book. they've not had real world experience. And that's what made me stand out. And that's what gave me more confidence throughout my journey in the military. And that same method, I think, is what I've been using when I entered programming, even everything I've been doing, like the same blueprint.
All right, thank you so much. That is really, really in depth. Going through your process, I can imagine you standing before this big guy, this big man, and doing far beyond whatever they've thought about and they've actually known, and even what they've read through in school. And I think that's a big discussion. We don't have the time to go deeply into it, but maybe you can have a little touch about it. Some persons are in school right now. Some persons are yet to go to school. One of them they might be this call, or they would definitely have access to this some other time. But some people are in that space and that process, and all they know is that people need to go to school to get knowledge, to understand how to live life or whatever, or to get job after school or something. And they really don't have a point of clarity as regards what school is for them and why they actually go into it. What would be your voice around that situation for the young persons out there today?
All right, thank you very much, sir. So school is wonderful, like it's excellent, very excellent. But right now, what is needed, especially in most industries right now, is experience. I can't down talk experience more a lot. You know, in school we have theory and practical. You see that practical is what makes you stand out. But the theory would be able to help you in the practical, but the consistent failure in the practical is what will make you stand out. So in terms of school, don't get me wrong, school certificate is legit, is worthy of being needful. But that theory, if you cannot find a means of executing it in practical to build a real world experience, you can't stand a chance. Because while you are doing your 5 years in school, let me use programming as an example. While you are doing 5 years in school, someone is doing 5 years in practical, doing the programming, the real world work. In the Igbo land, for those ones that are Igbo, there's what the Igbo people prioritize, what they call apprenticeship. So I don't know, like they used to have one name for it like that. I can't remember, but they used to prioritize what they call apprenticeship. Now you see apprenticeship, they don't tell you to go to school. They'll say, oh yeah, come and work as a boy under me in my shop. So you see like 5 boys working in their shop while they are doing businesses. And those boys will not go to school. But those boys will spend time there doing the real work, the dirty work, carrying the items. And after 5 years of 10 years, I don't know how long, they will now meet their boss and be like, okay, so we've served under you for this amount of years. What can you say? How can you help us? We want to start our own. So what happens I'm not an Igbo person, but like I've read about this and I've seen it actually. So what happens is the boss will now call the boys. He will not pick out the best among them. That okay, this person has done. That's why Igbo boys they do a lot of eye service because they want to be recommended by their boss. So the boss will carry out the best person among them, and he will tell this person, okay, now you are good to go, like you are ready to start your own business. He will give you a capital among what he has. He will give you and say, okay, take, go and start your own business. So the 5 years that you spent working as an apprentice under this person is enough experience for you to start up your own business. And you see that apprenticeship aspect of things, I really feel is a method that we need to execute more than the theory of school. And it pains me to see that our school method is 1 year of IT. And that IT, or whatever they call it, it's it doesn't always work out. Like they'll just come. A lot of people do IT in places and they've forgotten that IT, like the IT did not help in any experience that they need. Some people, the IT helped. I can't really say I didn't do IT. I didn't go to, I didn't do that. But some people it helped, but some others it didn't. So because of that reason, if you are running school right now, prioritize how can I at the same time in parallel find a means of experience in this field. Now there are some field that is very hard for you to find experience without. Now if you want to go and study doctorate or all that, or you want to be a doctor, you need the huge certificate. For you to find experience in that, it will be very difficult for people to trust you because you can't be practicing injection when you don't know anything like that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that kind of thing, you need the paperwork to prove that, okay, I can do it. But there are many other fields that don't need the paperwork. Most of what you need to learn is on the job. And I admit, I will tell every one of us here, if you can learn things on the job, in military, we call it on the job training, OJT, we call it OJT. So OJT used to be, they will carry special forces and they'll be like, okay, let us send you to a particular bush. You've done the theory, we've taught you in class because they used to teach us, we have theory aspect of it. But the theory aspect of it is like 1 month or 2 months. But I send you for OJT. OJT, you go to an operational ground. There are people that are already experienced in the operation. You are going there for OJT, so on the job training, and you will experience the bandit, you experience the fights. Then you come back and give your feedback. And that's where you have the mouth to say, I can do it because you've done it. So if my last advice in this aspect is any one of you that you are trying to do something and you're finding it difficult to do it, find someone else or some people that have done it before. If you can't find people that have done it before to hide under, then do it yourself. Do it yourself. What I mean do it yourself is start it yourself. That experience, the failures that you learned is going to help you. But please, find someone that has actually done it before so that it will save you a lot of failures because the person has that experience of the failures. So that's one of the things I would say about school. Those ones that are in school, find a way to gain experience. Whatever you want to build in life, experience will speak. Even some of us are in the tech space. Right now, in the tech space, there is no job you apply for that they are not asking for years of experience. Where do you want to get it from? It's a certificate. After spending 5 years in school, is it your certificate that is the years of experience?
No.
Another thing you can do that I did, like when I wanted to do video editing, I reached out to my mentor and I said, sir, please, let me edit your videos for free. Now, working for free builds experience. Is it funny enough? It's not free. Like you're building experience. The person is paying you in experience coins. So the person is not paying you money, but he's paying you experience. That's why I think there was one quote from, was it John C. Maxwell or something? I'm trying to remember. Two big men, I've forgotten the story, but there was one that said, okay, please, can I work under you and I will do everything for free. And he said, no, you are not doing it for free. I'm actually paying you with my time and you are gaining more than I'm gaining. You are gaining experience. You are gaining my time. You are gaining so it's a huge stuff. You benefit a lot from doing things for free. So whatever you're doing, if you're a programmer, go and program websites for people for free. If you're a graphic designer, reach out to small businesses. Let me do these things for free. That experience is what you're going to have mouths to be able to do other things that you need to do. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Simon. This is really deep. I like how you actually framed it around getting hands-on on the job. It's really important that we see the light of this because a lot of theoretical thoughts and perspective has really brought a lot of things down. People don't necessarily see the place of putting in the work to gain the right experience that would help them stand out. I've also seen people that are looking for jobs just to settle. I mean, like they just want to settle and feel chill, and that's all. Forgetting that there's a lot of work to be done, and the essence of actually getting the knowledge is to serve the society or serve the community. And your perspective is really brilliant and very very deep. For us to move forward, I want to bring this conversation into some real life frameworks as regards I think the things that we are standing for in Scheme Idea Solutions, which is I want to ask from your own personal experience, when did you realize skill alone was not enough? Because I believe you journey and travel through different landscape, and you got a lot of skills for certain things, but you realize that, oh, this is not it's not vibing. So, yeah.
The truth, skill alone is not enough. Skill is, I'll say like 30% of the work, honestly. So when I realized that was funny enough when I joined a community. So I think I've been doing programming alone for 3 years. I transitioned from being a programmer to being a video editor for 2 years. I was doing video editing for my church, then I was doing video editing for my mentor. I was doing video editing for people, like small 1,000 naira video edits and all that. But my perspective of this thing was I need to get better in my skill. And that was all I thought I needed. God, if I had knew that skill was not enough, the 3 years I spent in programming, by now I found on. I didn't know. There was no one to tell me. When things opened for me was when I started to network. I opened my new Twitter page, and I was like, I need to know these things. Like, there's more to this thing that I don't know. And I remember that season in video editing, what I did was I turned my whole social media page to a school. So what I did was I unfollowed every other person in all my social medias. Then I searched on Twitter, I will search video editors. Any video editor that I see, I'll follow, like. I did that. So the only people I was following on my Twitter were video editors. When I did my YouTube, the same thing. I stopped following random people on YouTube. I searched for video editors, and I followed on them. I subscribed to their channels. I was watching only theirs. The same thing I did on TikTok, the same thing I did on Instagram. I call it purging your feed. So what happened for me was during that season in life, the only information, every of my social media, the only information I was getting consistently was video editing stuff. And that's when I now realized a lot of video editors were making huge amounts of money. Like, there's something to it, because I started to network with other video editors around my niche. I saw that, how will these guys be making huge amount? I was seeing people talking about them getting $2,000 a month from video editing. I was like, me that I'm getting 20K, like 20K naira. Like, what's going on? There was something I needed to know. Then I joined my first biggest community. I didn't have much money at that period. The community is a $50 per month community. And I was like, there's something these guys are not telling me, and I want to know by myself. So I carried my money, $50 as of then was 70K or so. Carried my money, paid for that community. I joined them, and I realized, whoa, in that community is a video editing community, but they were not teaching video editing. None of their teachings were video editing. They said that knowledge is on YouTube, go and learn it. All their teachings were around business. They said the business of your skill is more important than the skill itself. I was like, wow. They said it was there I learned that, and these are guys, because it was in that community I realized people were earning $10K a month from the same video editing I'm doing. I was like, no, $10K is like 15 million naira from video editing. Graphic designers were earning $300 graphic. I was like, no, dude, like this is there's something. And I now
That's
realized, that the skill knowledge is great. You need to be good, you need to be excellent. But you see that business of your skill, no matter how excellent you are, if you don't understand the business of your skill, nobody is going to be willing to pay you huge amounts of money for even a valuable skill. You need to be able to sell and market yourself as valuable. And you need to do that efficiently. So more than the skill knowledge is the ability to business. Business is all about solving people's problems. And if you cannot be able to tell people how your knowledge and your skill can solve their own personal problems, you've not started. So when I learned that, it transformed. Just learning that, I was still earning like 20,000 naira from video editing. In less than 2 months, I was able to shift from earning 20,000 naira to earning $600 from video editing, just by learning that. The transition happened from December. By January, I was already getting my first dollars 200, because I started to market myself like mad. And what I mean by marketing is I started to do outreaches. I started to optimize my personal brand so that people can do inbounds. I started to like sell my skill. I remember I did my landing page. I created my funnel. Like I realized that the real work is the marketing of yourself. And that was where things changed for me, when I asked the right questions and I met people that had the right experience, and they were not telling me, no, you see, the business is the most important thing. So forget whatever skill you have. If you cannot market your skill, cannot sell your skill, you cannot sell why what you know can solve people's individual problems, then your skill is as useless as just a knowledge that you know. So
Thank you very much. That's really deep. Really, really deep. So I'm looking at this now. If you look at it closely, I'm asking myself, what would be that thing that would be holding someone back from taking action and effectively marketing their stuff, projecting themselves out there? Would there be anything like that happened to you? Like, was there anything that held you back? Maybe you felt like uh, this is family, or you felt like my friends, or you felt like, was there anything like that you had in your experience?
the greatest fear I felt I had in my time was I'm not good enough. Like I felt like, can I be able to deliver what I'm telling people I can deliver? And I kept looking down on myself. But what conquered that was, remember, experience. So what I mean by experience is I started to reach out to people to be like, let me do this thing for you for free. And that
Wow.
doing it for free built my confidence. And then I now started to have portfolio of results I have created for other people. So first of all, I didn't start from far. I started with my mentor. I was able to get my mentor's YouTube channel from 2,000 average views on his channel to 400,000 average views on his channel over the year.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So, and I was doing that for him for like free. He was the one that was paying me 20K. I was doing it literally for free for him. But that testimony gave me confidence to tell other people that I've done it for someone else, I can do it for you. So the truth is, for you to properly market yourself, like someone like you, sir, coach. Now, in SMS, there have been results that has been made.
Yeah.
Like in your own case now, it won't be a thing of I am marketing myself by telling you, oh, I can do this, I can do this. I'm trying to prove to you that I can do it by just mouth. No, be like, no, see, I've done it for 50 people. And this is their result. This is what they have. So I know I can do it. Like there's a difference between when you have credibility and when you don't.
True.
And when it comes to, I think my fear was that I didn't have enough credibility. So if you find yourself in that situation, go and build you can't get credibility without doing something. Like, get yourself to do something. Get yourself to create results. Someone like Gladys now, she's an accountability coach.
Yeah.
Find one person that you can transform their life through the accountability and market that success, like milk that success to every other person. If you are a coach here, or let's say like I think Iyanu is a book person, find one person that you have executed that person's book, and you see that result. Every of your content should have, I did it for this person, I did this for this person, he got this result. I did it. Like, that is your market. People don't believe what you say you can do. People believe the result that you've actually done. So this advice was given to me by one of the coaches in that community. He asked me, what have I done? And I told him, okay, I was downplaying the results I had made. So he asked, what have I done? I said, I've been working as a video editor for this person. He said, bro, you're working as a video editor for this person for 1 year. Even if it is a small result you've gotten for that person, market that result. I say, hey, okay, no problem. I start all my outreach. If I'm reaching out, I'm sending an email to people that I wanted to work with. I'll tell them, I did it, I've done it, I did it, I've done it. And once I get a new result from a new client, he has become my new trumpet. I did it for these two guys. I did it for these two guys. Once I get a new result for another person, I did it for these three guys. And this system works across every industry. You are a hairstylist. The hairstyle that you've done for someone is your valuable asset. You snap that picture. Hey, see how this girl is looking beautiful with her hairstyle. I can do it for you. Your market is literally you saying the same things that you've done for other people, the credibility of what you've done for other people. And if you don't have that credibility of what you've done for anybody, go and do something for someone for free and do it so good that it becomes a result, like a champion result. You know, back in the olden days, if they go for war and they kill their enemies, they will carry the head of their enemies and they will put it like hallmarks of the people that they've defeated. That same system work across everywhere. So I want every one of us to stop. That was my fear. Remember, as I said, my fear was like, I don't know if I can do it for other people. But the only reason I know I can do it for other people is because I've done it before. So I would say that was my major fear, and that was how I was able to overcome that fear during my period.
All right, thank you for that. I was going to ask you, have you failed? Have you failed before? I think that was like a big deal for many persons. The fear of failure and how to really handle it. Because seeing that you've gone through this process, I believe that you've actually had periods and processes whereby there were down times, and sometimes you even felt like nothing. Maybe you could brace us about some of these things. If you actually experience at least a cardinal time in your life where you felt like you failed. What was that like?
I failed a lot. I failed more than you guys can think. When I was when I was doing programming, I failed. When I mean I failed, I had the knowledge, but I couldn't get people to pay me for my knowledge. And it got me almost depressed, because I was like, maybe everybody is hyping me that I'm good. How can I be able to get this me being good to money? Like, money is not huge, but like it's a good factor to measure some certain aspect of success. And I felt depressed. I felt depressed about it, and I gave up on programming. 3 years worth of programming, I gave up on it because I felt it wasn't working out. And I started from scratch in video editing. Nobody knows me as a video editor. Nobody cares about me. I wish I'm happy I did the video editing, But if I was to advise someone else, you can't waste 3 years of experience in one field and now start something fresh. Like, it's stupid. But right now I'm happy that I did. In both worlds, I still feel I succeeded, but I failed in that aspect. I failed in there were times that my equipment were limitation, especially in video editing. Equipment were annoying limitations. The type of videos I wanted to edit, I didn't have the equipment I needed for it. I didn't have the money I needed for it. So I tried doing the crazy things that every other person was doing, but my equipment were not sufficient for that. That's when I felt that was another downtime for me. I felt like, can I succeed in this? Like, I don't have I had a laptop, but it wasn't powerful enough. And laptops were getting more and more expensive. I didn't have the gadget. I only had the skills, but I didn't have the tools to execute. But how I was able to learn from that failure, I'll just call it a downtime, was that I now cut my coat according to my size. So what I did was, instead of doing the flamboyant things that everybody was doing, let me do the easy things, the things I can do that my laptop can allow me to do. But let me do them extremely well. So I know that anyhow it is, my laptop can allow me cut videos. It can allow me put text. It can allow me put text on the videos. And I did that very well. I did it very well, that it created the results for my mentor back then. I didn't do flashy edits for my mentor. I did simple edits, but I did it very well. I used storytelling and some other things, sound design, because those ones are not heavy on my laptop, to execute excellence. And eventually, because of that, I was able to get results from my mentor that gave him because he was the one that was like, wow, you did a great job for me. Let me pay you out. He paid me 500K that helped me buy my new laptop that I was able to execute and do more things. Another time I failed, and this was actually recently, I felt that I had enough credibility. I felt that at this stage, I can do anything. Like, with all this knowledge I have, just give me 2 months, I'll create results in my life. I felt that. And I started working on my own business called Content Influence. And I started working on it. For those ones that know me very well, last month, like this month, I was using AI, I was using algorithm, I was working on it. I felt like I can. I now reached a breaking point that everything I was doing was not working out. A hacker hacks my computer. I was frustrating my life that period. My money was finishing. I had problems in my company that I was working with. Everything was tumbling. Everything I had invested my life in was tumbling down. I had to not calm down. I was not like, one of the things I now realized that was, it is important for you to be patient. Everything takes time. No matter how if you plant a seed on a mango seed, no matter how much water you pour in one day, and no matter how much fertilizer you pour in one day, it's not like water and fertilizer are wrong. They are the right things. But no matter how much you pour all those things in one day, the seed will still tell you, bro, I will take my time to grow. That seed will still tell you, and it is not up to you for that seed to grow. It is up to God for that seed to grow. Paul watered Apollo, but it is him that brings the fruit. So that was a critical lesson I learned in the last few months, because last few months, almost everything that I was working hard on felt like it was failing. But I now realized that the problem is not that I'm not doing the right things. I am doing the right things. It's just that I am expecting results immediately, like right now. Now, everything should work out in 2 months. I don't like that kind of thing. The expectations was wrong. So I now learned the aspect of patience, that everything takes time. You need to be consistent with the things you are doing, but you also need to give the work that you're doing patience, because it takes time. Anything, no matter who you are, nothing happens overnight. It all takes time. And I think that was one of the lessons I learned from my failure in that business. and I'm building something huge gradually. So I've learned that lesson. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much. We are truly grateful for your perspective on this. I have about two questions I would like to push in now, but I think we have our second speaker here with us, Mr. John. So John, good morning and welcome. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, good morning, sir, and
Very
good
welcome.
morning, Skill Migrant Solution.
Thank you so much. I know that this has not been easy for you. I did this like a crazy sacrifice you're making as regards your engagement and everything, but we are truly grateful that you can make it here with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I apologize for coming in late. It
No,
was situations beyond my immediate control.
yeah, very much understood, sir. I would like to put a question to you, but maybe I would treat up with Sam. Maybe if you get yourself set, then you get to also reiterate from your own experience. Um, I have a question for you, Sammy, before we get to Mr. John. The would you what's the cost, the sacrifice, the cost of sacrifice that you need to make to stand out? And then you talked about time. Does everybody have the same, like, would everybody put in the same work and get things happen for them at the same time? I would like to get your perspective. I'd like to get your Mr. John's perspective. So let's start with you, Sam. What do you think about that?
Okay, concerning the amount of time it takes to actually get results.
Yes, time and sacrifice. Yeah.
Let me say this. Most of us underestimate the amount of work and sacrifice that is needed to get the result that you want to get. Most of us underestimate it. So some of us will think, oh, I just need to do this thing once every day, and in 5 months I will get the results. But sometimes it might be you realize that you need to do that particular thing 5 times every day to get the same result that you wanted to get.
Wow.
The amount of work that is needed for most of our success, like, don't ever think that you are doing too much. Always have this mindset that you're doing too small, which sometimes can make you feel like low self-esteem or something like that. But if you start thinking, oh, I'm not doing enough, let me multiply my inputs. You will now realize that there is so much that you can like accomplish. And I want all of us to disconnect from the results, disconnect from the output, disconnect from, oh, I want to get this amount. I want to get 500K in the next 3 months. I want to get 5 million clients. Like, disconnect from those ones are outcomes. You don't have assurance of that outcome. Anything can happen, but you have assurance of the input. You know what you can do. So what you do is evaluate the ability that you have right now. What are the things I can execute consistently, irrespective of when the result will come out? So if you are let's say a fashion designer, can I have control over being a fashion designer, creating one new fashion dress every week? If that is a possibility, I don't care about how many people are going to see my fashion. I don't have control over that, but I have control about how much I can do over and over again. So it makes it that now the time it takes is not equal for everybody. Some of us, we are just one execution away from our success. One. Some of us, it's just one thing that we need to do that immediately will succeed. Why there are some people that you have to try over and over again. It doesn't mean that that person that just did it once and you did it over and over again, you succeeded. The person is better than you. There was a lady that reached out to me. She used to do outreaches to clients. She was sending emails. She said that she listened to me talk about outbound, and she started to do it. And she was sending emails. She and her friend, both of them were sending emails to clients that they wanted to work with. But her friend has gotten a job already. She's still sending emails and she has not gotten the job. Like her friend did not just needed 3 emails. She has sent up to 20 or 25 emails. I say, so does that make your friend better than you? No. What makes it better is, number one, you have to review the things that you are doing. And one of the things that we say for every one of us is don't keep doing something without learning from it. So there's a difference between volume and iteration. So volume being that you're doing something over and over again, but iteration means I did something, I learned from it, and and I'm going to do it better. So make sure that every iteration of what you do, your inputs, your previous input should not be the same thing as your next input. I remember when I was working as a video editor for a particular client, I told him, sir, every video I do will be better than the video I did previously. So any video I did for him. The next video I did, I'm like, how can I outbeat my previous performance? Like your competition is yourself. Your competition is your previous input. So even though I say that your input is more important, make sure that your every input you make towards your success is better than yesterday's own. Just compete with yourself. Don't compete with any other person. Other people can do it once. Other people can use dubious means of getting their results. No, your competition is with yourself. How can I outsmart my previous self? And you, with that, you always get better. So the two things I would just want you to take away from this is, number one, most of us we download the amount of inputs, the amount of work that is needed for the success that we require. And number two, get better every single iteration. Every time you do something, make sure it's a better one. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. So, John, I don't know if you are still here with us. I would like to also get a perspective on this. I believe there are certain people that are looking out to hear your thoughts as regards this.
Yes, I'm still here. I've been listening to.
Okay, sir. So, the question was as regards um, sacrifice and time. For example, what level of sacrifice is necessary to get to success? Because, for example, somebody may see you and say, "Oh, it's just 1 year that it took you to get this thing." All right. For another person, it could be maybe 2 years, 3 years, like that. So, what would you say about that? And then, what's the sacrifice? What would one give away to actually get to that level of success?
Okay, you mentioned that time. You mean sacrifice and time?
Yes,
Are
sir.
they the two factors? Okay,
Yes, sir.
well,
Yes, sir.
like the other speaker said, Samuel, I think it's important. One other thing I would love to add is the fact that sometimes we like to engineer isolated success, but in the
Hmm.
real sense, the best of successes are spillovers.
Oh,
So, for instance, if you wake up in the morning and you are able to understand that you are alive, you are sane, that's success.
wow. Yes.
That's success in a measure.
Hmm.
And if you know how to carry it over to other areas of your life, the fact that I successfully woke up, it means I have a chance at succeeding at other things.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so one of the challenges I faced previously, and I see a lot of people face, is the fact that they love to succeed, they love to approach things, their goals or their plans with a sense of isolation. So they separate their business life from their relationships, and then from their faith life, and then from the academics. So that separation, it puts you in a mental state where you feel like you are starting from scratch. But in the real sense, the only thing you start from scratch is when you are giving birth. Every other thing is a build up on something else.
Wow.
So if you're starting a new business, you can be rest assured that you are going to use the knowledge, the experience you have from other things you've done previously in the new business you are starting.
Mm.
I don't know if it makes sense.
Very well. Very well.
So that understanding has helped me to know that every single, do you know, I told somebody that reading is boring. As a matter of fact, every single thing that will change your life will bore you.
So,
If you are somebody, if you pray, if you are somebody that prays, you know, prayer can be boring because sometimes you feel like you're not doing anything. You're just talking to thin air. You're not even sure if God is hearing you. Let me not lie. You're not sure if they what there are times where you pray something and you have to tell yourself, calm down, calm down. So that's the same way you pick up a book. And then no matter how interested you are in any field, there are times where you feel bored reading. You do research and something is telling you that from what to what
I think he's breaking out a bit also.
possibly network problem. Okay, I think you can hear me. Sajo, can you hear us now?
I think his network has cut him out a bit. We have Jonathan with us.
Okay. This is Jonas. Welcome. Good to have you with us. Sajon, can you hear me now?
Man, sorry guys, I missed up
Yes, I
the
can hear you now.
timing, but I'm here now. I thought it was PM, so I was dealing with 8 PM.
Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry about that too.
So we are in a conversation, Mr. John. You were on an answer.
Are we streaming on YouTube?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
My God.
My God. Okay, like I was saying before my daddy walked in. My daddy, you're welcome, sir. So, as I was saying, knowing that every success you are aiming for will be a build up on every other thing you have succeeded with or on before now. That cumulative mindset would help on the long run. It's going to ease the tension of thinking you are starting from scratch. There's no starting from scratch. Everything you are starting that seems to be from scratch is building up on something you have done previously.
Oh.
So the reason you can articulately speak on this live stream is because you learned the alphabets of the English language previously. If you had skipped classes and you never had an idea on how to pronounce the letters of the alphabet, chances are you can't be on this live stream, no matter how much you know.
Yeah,
You
very
can
true.
you can ignore it and think it's not a big deal. A, B, C, D, E, F. But you try to make
It
a
is a
complete
big deal.
sentence without them.
Wow.
So that cumulative mindset, when you approach success at anything, it helps you. You're almost halfway there. It mentally puts you ahead, even when you are just starting physically or in reality.
Wow. Thank you so much for your perspective on this, John.
Thank you for
So Jonathan, welcome. We have Sir Sam now. We have Sir Jonathan. We have Sir John. Three amazing speakers with us here. I don't know if Sir Jonathan, so you're ready. I have a question for you.
Let's try.
All right. The question is, have you failed before? How was it?
The question should be, how many times have I failed?
So, a specific one that you felt like you won't succeed, bro.
I'm trying to just find a way to show my face. My God, I'm fine. I'll be good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Pardon my joining in at this time. If there's anything if there's any failure I can lay hands on, because we have students here, let me tell you a story I've not probably shared. I fail every time, to be honest. I learn best from failing. I fail for, I don't say I fail for a living, but I try because I'm a risk taker. I don't, I'm unlike the average person, and my friends know. I probably don't plan to execute. So if an idea hits me, two questions I ask myself: what if it goes right? Because an average person asks, what if it goes wrong? But I ask myself, what if it goes right? Right? And secondly, what and who do I need? If I can sort those questions, trust me, tomorrow we're working on it. So I don't sometimes give myself the benefit of doubt to weigh too many pros and cons, because I realize that the distance between a continuous success and a what you call hit and run success is the amount of trials, the amount of time people are willing to dare things. Some of us have been analyzing our visions for years. We have not made progress. I don't do all those things, to be very honest with you. And Josh has worked with me closely. He will tell you. Once he said, Jonathan, let's do this thing now. You are doing it. And you who suggested it, you are the one running it. You know? So that's, I just needed to put that out. So I had an academic failure once. I failed once in my life academically.
Yeah.
And when you fail once in your life academically, nothing prepares you for it. So let me tell you a story. Let me look at who is on this call first.
To be sure.
There are some things that have weight. I'm sure you guys will learn from what I'm saying. So I was fellowship president. I was top of my class. I was popular. I was PGI to many of you. And I go write an exam and I have 20 over 100.
Oh my God.
It cannot happen. Like, I feel like it couldn't happen. Like, 20. So it battered, shattered. I now realize that we all have pride. You see, ego is a divine deposit for healthy self-esteem. It's not bad. It's too much of ego that's a problem. So that ego is what keeps you, seeking a level of relevance and success. I'm sure maybe John is even, oh no, you'll be hearing for the second time. I've told him before. So I go write an exam and I have 20 or 100. And I'm like, this case I'm telling you took us to office of the DVC academics. It wasn't resolved. So for want of better words, I had to go write a course as a fellowship president. My successor was my 1 year junior in that course. It was a microbiology course. My successor, his vice president, were microbiology students. So I had to sit down in front of them to write that exam. You don't want to know. That experience, it rewired me. And I learned 2 lessons from them. And I'm sure that's why you have to say.
Yeah.
First is that you can't extend grace if you've not had experience. I had become so used to winning that I did not know how it felt to lose.
Oh wow.
So my empathy towards failure that day began. In fact, not empathy, only compassion. I believe that there's sympathy, there's empathy, there's compassion. Sympathy is I know. What's that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. How many minutes do I have? Am I? Take it to
Oh,
the side.
I think they're existing. It's a yarn.
Okay. A sympathy says, I know how I feel for you. Empathy says, no, sympathy says, I know how you feel. Empathy says, I feel for you. But compassion says, how can I serve you?
Mm,
So you can't serve if you've not felt. And
mm.
if you can't feel if you've not experienced.
Wow.
You know? So it helps me to learn how to. So if a student comes to meet me now and say, I failed, so I had a carryover. While my case may not be that of indolence or laziness or something, at least I know the shame that comes with it. I know you know what it means?
Mm.
Secondly, the next point and final lesson I drew from it is the fact that we do not realize how many tools of influence we have
Oh,
until what we call our job when is tampered with. So that thing which you think is all you have is one of that which you have.
Wow.
So my most popular tool of influence on campus was my academics. And so everybody felt, you know that kind of thing where people know your result before they know you. They say, now the scholar with that, our scholar with that. So they don't even know your name. Everybody just scholar, hey, that guy, hey, I the top this class, hey, scholar, And when scholar was not scholaring, I now realized that there was more in me. So it's like I gave up my unnecessary trust in my academic grades for a heavy dose of influence, organic influence. I had more influence in one semester than in my other 7 semester combined.
wow.
So you will not, there's an overestimation of one gift over another. If you are very good as a video editor now, I know straight bullet to Ade, there are many other things you can be exceptional at if you decide to.
Yeah, very true. Very
Right? I
true.
know that you sometimes get used to what you are used to, but I'm saying that what you are used to is one of the things you are good at. You can be exceptional. The same way, in fact, and let me say this as well, one of the most beautiful and profound truths I've learned is that once you master the pathway of success, you can succeed at any other thing. You can reproduce success.
You can
If
replicate
you've
it.
done it once, you can do it again and again.
Mm.
Yes. Thank you.
This table is going to scatter.
Let me stop there.
Like funny enough, like it's similar to a lot of things that I told you from my own experience. Like that
Yeah.
aspect of replicating the whole thing. Like, oh,
Wow. It's a great one. Yano, are you available with us? So while she's getting set, I'll have another question here. Let me go back to Sir John. I would like to ask,
My
when
daddy.
did you start getting visibility around the work that you are doing, and how did that start at your end, and what does it look like now? What would you say about the journey too?
Okay, when did I start getting visibility? Well, I've been at the game for long, so
From his mother's
visibility
womb.
came
From his
along.
mother's womb.
No, not really. Well, I would say it's visibility. It shows you how how much value whatever you're doing commands actually,
yeah.
because it's not for the fun, it's not for the numbers, right? The more people you have seeing, interacting, and using the value touch point you offer,
Mm,
is the higher the chances you find your target audience. That's the people who need it actually, like the people who need your value, like the oxygen they breathe. The higher, is a numbers game.
yeah.
It's a numbers game. So I think as very recently, it's not been long, recently, let's say like around 2020, 2021, It's not been
How
long.
about you, sir? Same, same.
It's recently, 2020, 2021. I began to see people find my writings and my works and my events and all these things very interesting. But there used to be a time when
Nobody.
anyone went to, right? You only had the people in your immediate. I only had the people in my immediate environment who believed. And there are times where people just stay around because they are hoping it will work. They don't believe it will work.
Hmm. Hmm.
They are hoping,
That
right?
one take somewhere.
They're waiting to see the
So
failure.
yes, you will know. In the Bible, there was a time where, as powerful as Jesus was, Jesus came to the point and told some disciples and said, "I don't have food to give you. I don't have anything. You can
Ah,
now go to your houses." They
oh
left
Jesus.
hundreds. They left because it's always like that at different points, especially if the success is not loud or very loud. There are going to be people who will be around just hoping it works, hoping it
Mm.
benefits them, hoping things get better. And
Hoping
also,
it
yeah,
fails too.
it's not been so recent.
Mm.
Yes. There are going to be people who will tell you, who will be waiting to say, "I told you, I told you,
I told you not to study.
I told you to
and,
look for something else to do."
and sometimes you be like, I don't want these people to have mouth over me. I beg.
So that would be it for me. The difference, I've explained it. Visibility,
Yeah.
it shows you the efficacy of what you do.
Yeah.
Well, well, thank you very much, sir, for that perspective. Um, Sir Jonas, let me ask a question. Have you been misunderstood for seeing your vision, creating visibility that you become known, people see you? Have you been misunderstood? How did you deal with that?
John will be laughing if he's hearing us. He will just be laughing if he's hearing us now because I don't think I've ever been understood. To be honest,
Ah,
my
You know.
my my mind is not the regular place. I don't. I used to have conversations with God as a younger person and tell him why did you make me like this? First is that my purpose interjects the norm.
Mm.
None of my expressions, nothing I do that follows the path. Everything I've done in my life interjects the norm. Is either I'm taking a path nobody has taken, or I'm questioning whatever everybody has believed to be true, or I'm disagreeing with a convention. Uncommon cannot be common. Uncommon is the
Can-
norm, so that position as it were has already put. So yes, I've been greatly misunderstood. First is the fact that people don't give people the benefit of doubt.
Oh wow.
People feel like if somebody is making a decision, he doesn't have sense. In life, but I realized that a full grown man will sit down, articulate his life, and choose a path. And somebody will feel like he didn't think, that he's driven by emotions. The problem with that is that you cannot be more Catholic than the Pope. You cannot be more passionate about a person's success than him.
Hmm.
You cannot. It doesn't. I cannot be more passionate about SMS than Joshua. And it looks simple, but it is the pure fact of life. So when I see it, I just realize that people don't really give people the benefit of doubt. As a person, right? I've seen how it works. Another real manifestation of it is that people expect what's called conformity. And if you interpret it from the scriptural perspective, you may not have an understanding to it. Let me give you a context to it. Mainstreaming.
Oh,
People expect you to mainstream.
you must follow the norm.
So there is a way people. Someone say something?
No, I said like you must follow the path that every other person follows.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys watch the kind of content I watch. I don't know Dan Dizzy. If you know Dan Dizzy or Harry Mack,
Not really.
So that this is a freestyle rapper. Yeah, so you throw words at him. Harry Mack is like the Weibo version of him. Right. So he's like a street rapper. He just goes on the street of universities. You give him a word. So he can say Ade, John, Olaoluwa, Henry. And then he's rapping, and then the punchlines have Henry, John, Olaoluwa, hey, something inside. That's his own style of rap. And he became popular because he's a freestyler. So maybe he just comes and say, I am not John Terry. I'm simply Mark with a Henry. I'm trying to do some rap. This kind of thing. This kind of thing. Some of you don't know I used to do rap. Maybe one day I'll come and expose myself. I still try my hands at rap.
Multi-talented.
I used to rap now. I used to rap. Heavily, like properly, I used to rap. So he goes and becomes popular. And the world now expects him to go and do the conventional music. So he should go to studio and record. As a street freestyler, he's the number one in Nigeria. As a recording artist, he's number 1,000 something. So your uniqueness is your critical success factor. And true, my greatest fear, he went and recorded a song with the popular this guy, Duncan Mighty. And the song did not blow. Of course, the song will not blow. You understand? You cannot blow outside of your uniqueness.
Yeah.
Blow is a possibility for the unique. Because blow is interjecting the norm so that people's emotions are carried away before they know and all of that. So don't mainstream. That's what I told myself. I can't turn my organizations into a conventional platform. They are not conventional platforms. I can't start speaking. See, I used to say it when I teach publicly. Nobody speaks like me. It's not a statement of pride, it's a statement of identity. Nobody will approach this session the way I'm approaching it. And it's not a statement of pride, it's simply a statement of identity. So, greatly misunderstood, I started mentoring very young. That's one place I was misunderstood too. I started mentoring at a very young age. Some people think I was silly. Now we have mentees that have mentees. And we are growing. Very soon our mentees have mentees that have mentees. And the tribe is getting bigger. Tomorrow when I land in UK and somebody is using Rolls Royce or Lamborghini to pick me up, they will say I did blood money. Which was when I was laboring on children, nobody knew, So these are very important stuff. Just think, what you will buy me a car one day with your future,
Yeah.
Thank you. That's my response.
So Joshua just had to disconnect now because his battery ran down. But I'm going to ask him some of the questions that he asked me before you guys came in. One of the questions was the beginning, the pivotal movement of when you, because every one of us in our journey has had, okay, yes, that pivotal moment that you discovered what you wanted to do and you started to put in work towards that thing that you wanted to do. So I would love to hear you guys own also, like, what was the pivotal moment, the beginning of, like, Sir Jonathan, your IRE did not start yesterday. It started sometimes. There was something that birthed it. And it can be that you knew it from childbirth. So there must have been a beginning to it. So I would love to hear from you guys, starting from Sir John Eche. What was the beginning of what you're building right now? How did it start? Then I would love to hear Jonathan also.
Okay, thank you for that. Well, I would say I just had a thing for tech. Right? I am someone like my friend. I'm someone who, when I observe things and see where people, focus on the most, I just try to find something else. I don't like crowded spaces. So I have that, just if everybody's doing this, what else can we do that is different but could bring equal or higher value? Right. So this idea of, going to school, studying, getting a degree, landing a job, working towards retirement is not really my thing. I've not really fancied it and all. I've always had the idea that we can create something that could serve people, give us freedom, give us enough time on our hands to do other things. Right, so I've been looking out, right? When I discovered that innate tendency, I've been looking in the tech space since I can remember. So I remember when I got admission into school, that was around 2015. Right? That was when I would say 2015 was that point for me when I knew I want to be in the tech space. And that was just recently. It's not been long.
So it's 15
Honestly,
is 10 years back.
yeah, so I started putting effort. We had free Wi-Fi in school, so I would go and just research about, blogging. I researched about different what they call it, white labeling, ebooks, online courses, websites, and all these things. Just learning while I was a fresher in school, and that was the starting point when I knew I don't just I want to have something that will serve a lot of people. I want to be where my value touches people beyond my geography, beyond and one organization and all. So that would be what I'll say
Oh, wow.
regarding the question.
I really look at it like it was humble beginnings, like a gradual growth process. And people will not know that you spent 10 years, you're saying 2015 is not, it's 10 years of consistent building. Guys, I hope you guys are enjoying these conversations. I'll give room for the audience to ask questions very soon. So if you have any question towards them, or towards any one of us, because I'm also part of the speaker. Joshua has disappeared. You can be able to prepare your question. So, Sir Jonathan, over to you. Like, I'm curious to know, when did that spark and when did the execution start for what you're building today?
Okay, so in around 2012,
I was
I had an
thinking
experience.
2003.
No. There's the thing happening that you're not understanding. Then there's the understanding.
Yeah.
I have clear memories of 2002 World Cup in my head. Like as I am, like 2002 World Cup, 2006 World Cup. I have very clear. I can still remember, some things, but I didn't come into understanding of some things are happening that were strange. Let me give you an example that I probably started having what you call insights, what we call prophetic insights. Now, pardon me, maybe like Jesus too. I just know that I know things. I know people's name before they tell me. And I'm not a pastor, I'm not before you now call me prophet, I'm not a prophet. But I know that those things, you have a lot of things as a child that, I know his name. He didn't tell me, but you didn't come to the understanding of it until much later in life. So in 2012, I sat back one day and I realized that my thought pattern was not conventional, and I started reading books. And that's why I said books changed my life. I started reading books and I realized I had a clan that were not with me. So books allowed me to meet people that were not around me. Nobody around me was thinking what I was thinking. But I found people were thinking in the direction. So I just glued to them. And in 2012, I just told myself, I said, this thing is not conventional. It's not. And then I started nurturing. So I went to serve. I went to volunteer. I volunteered for like 3 to 4 years with an organization. And I found somebody who, if I'm grateful to God for something, he injected me with passion. You can't sit without my boss then and not hear the word passion like 10 times. They say,
Yeah.
he's so passionate, passionate. I saw it real. He came to the town as a core member, and then would carry wood on his head. That's how he built the first library in prison.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he was so rugged, like Copper that came and took over the town. Later got scholarship to go to India to study social entrepreneurship, came back, is now in about 3 or 4 prisons in Nigeria doing a phenomenal work as an academy in prisons and all of that. So I saw that first time, and it just welled up in me. I read was the first organization I started. I started First Voice Foundation. And I just woke up on the 4th of November, I can't forget. 4th of November 2016. And told my friends, we are meeting tomorrow. We're meeting today, 5 p.m. in Goshut's house, like one of our friends' house. And then we went, I called them. I came with a 15-page document. That's wicked. Fresh idea. I mean, but I had experience. I had seen somebody else try his hands on it and it worked. So I came with a proper document, shared the vision, and that's how my first test at leadership, corporate leadership, was born 5th of November 2016. And that organization would go on to do events like, if you ever attended Young Leaders Conference, Young Activation Seminar, Activation Master Classes, which John has spoken on social expressions. Right, I will still have a couple of expressions till now, but I realized that vision will metamorphose in a certain context. I was young and I learned certain lessons that I now teach, especially when it comes to team architecture. Like if you run an organization, your leadership structure should not be on proximity and relationship. It should be on relevance and competence.
Yeah.
They were my friends, but they were not ready. I was the only one who had built the capacity for that. You understand? They bought the vision, but they didn't have the content, And we also ended up creating offices that were not really needed. So we had a deputy director, we had a project manager, we had a secretary, we didn't need all of that. We just had structure. We're not making money yet. We had an account officer. What were we doing? So some of those factors. And when I teach big organizations, I tell them the beauty of organization is not in an organogram, it's in a functional system. The fact that you can, if you look at it, there's something called a process governance system. An average person knows how it comes. You indicate interest, you sign up. I introduce you, the organization team picks it up from there, hands over to the accountability partnership, you start reading with us, and then I continue the checkup. And then, so that if you don't have that circle, you don't have an organization. So it is that circle that determines who you need.
Yeah.
So as the love I have for John is like the light of 1,000 suns. But if I start an organization now that he's not relevant to, he will be director. He will be our well wisher. I love you, sir. No, the world cannot do it now. But the fact is the relationship. So that did. And so in 2019, I realized that what constituted an advantage to me is the quality of information I had exposed myself to. Why is our chat quiet? People are eating fried rice and chicken,
They are deep in understanding.
Let's believe so. So I guys with us, let's see in the chat, let's get some feedback. So
Guys,
I realized that what constituted an advantage to me was that I was reading some things. Knowledge is very crazy.
Yeah.
Knowledge, if you are reading and you're humble, then you're humble. Knowledge pops up. Especially when you think that you are the only one learning what you are learning. Let me give you a very funny story. Sometimes when I stay out till 3 a.m., 3:30 to read, I'll just say, well, lie. Nobody that I know is reading now. It's only me that is alive now that is reading this kind of time. What are you doing awake? I think you're the only one learning. People, they learn, people are learning. So I realized, no, this thing that was happening to me can happen to more people. And so I shared my read list. Funnily, I shared it. And people rushed to my DM. How did you read 58 books in a year? How did you read 58 books in a year? And I said, give me 1K, let me teach you. Only 19 people paid. 1,000 naira. So that was 19,000. So I had to tell you that our first year inflow, not profit though, first year revenue for the whole of I read was only 19,000.
Oh, wow.
So only 19 people paid. And I practice what I'm teaching now. That you grow through what you are going through. So the principles we run on I read now, I scrapped it, I use that cohort to learn it. So I need to apologize to them for being our experimental rats or the guinea pig, all the other things.
Lab rat.
Lab. So I need to apologize to them, but we sapped out real principles. So every year we've been improving, and that's it. We've been improving. We've been getting better. Let me say something I wanted to say during my first question. See, nothing is funnier than somebody who has never built anything trying to teach a builder how he should have built it. It's comedy. See, spectatorship is different from playing.
That's right.
You guys playing the game. That's why one of my favorite things ever is The Man in the Arena. You should read it. It's by Theodore Roosevelt. Everybody should read it. That Josh, please put it in the comments for them. Just type The Man in the Arena and put it in the comments for them. Let's look at it together. Or Ade, you can just do it for us. The Man in the Arena. He says it is not the doer, the man in the arena. Yeah, maybe you can copy it. You can just Google it out and paste it. First to do it, anybody can do it. Right? So that you just understand that. So I hear people all the time. Some people have these fantastic ideas. And let me say this because I'm talking to people who are going to build something. I beg you, learn to understand this principle that a good idea may not be good for now. A great idea may not be great for now. I get suggestions every time. Some people think how we should have turned Irie to something, we need to build this, I'm hearing you. I really am hearing you. But I have the advantage of oversight. John is laughing, John is really, like, so Jonathan, we can do more. Yes, we can do more. But I have the privilege of oversight. I am the one who knows the system and the structure we have. We didn't celebrate, when I teach TV, we didn't celebrate birthdays on Irie until we had the manpower to not miss one person's birthday. Because if I celebrate Ade and I don't celebrate John,
that's chaos.
Party scatter. So until we're able to create a system to collect data, to have somebody who creates the design, edits the designs, makes the post. Ade, okay. Yes, Ade has zoomed this for us. It says it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds would have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who tries valiantly, who errs, who comes short. This who errs, who makes mistakes, who falls and rides, comes short again and again. If you think that a visionary is a perfect person, you have failed. You have lost it. Not today. Because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid cowards. So who neither know victory nor defeat. That's my drive. I'm going to put that thing somewhere in my house very soon. I'm going to frame it like this and put it there.
Even myself, I'm like, wow.
So that's my drive. It's an excerpt from his speech. So I beg you in the name of God, like as I'll say, don't get drowned. Don't get drowned in a good idea may not be good for now. You will have to ask yourself, okay, do you know the thing? When you get the timing of an idea right, it has an energy to self-run. I'm sure John will understand what I'm saying. If you align, like okay, a 2026 idea executed in 2026 does not cause you stress. It's when you are trying to do 2018 stuff in 2026, you don't have the manpower, the wisdom, you are even dying trying to sort it. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Like, that was profound. Honestly, I just want to share, like, that this knowledge about what you shared about the man in the arena and everything, it hit me at home because there was a time in my life that I was feeling like I know it all. So I have the knowledge, but I didn't have the experience. And I think before you guys came in, I was sharing how I failed a lot because I had the knowledge, I had the zeal, I had the passion, but I didn't have, like, I've not put my hand in the dust. And I can't say how important that is. I love, for example, I love personal branding and content stuff. I have huge knowledge in that. But one thing that always limited me was I didn't really have the credibility to back up some of the things I said. But I had the credibility to back up the years of experience I had in video editing. But I always downplayed that for what I really wanted to. And I started to understand that there is a mixture of all these things to play to build that, for you to have mouth in the things that you say. So most of us that are speaking here is not just from the things that we say, it's from the experiences that we are sharing. And we're not sharing something that we have not done and all that. So like it's really touched at home. So thank you very much, Sir Jonathan. So while we'll be rounding up, I'm calling on our moderator, Iyanu, to moderate the final questions from the audience and all that. There are other questions that were meant to be targeted at you and Eche and Jonathan, but we are already hitting the end of our time. But Iyanu, over to you. Go ahead.
Hey, hello everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, able speakers. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us so far. Like it's been so insightful. Um, so right now we're going to be taking questions from the audience. So if you have any question, kindly drop the question. But then we have one question already.
Can anyone hear her? I think she was muted. Okay. Iyanu, are you back? If you're back, let us know. Okay, thank you.
Yes, I'm back. But then it's like
Are you sure Nigerian network is not? Okay, so while she fixes that in, questions from the audience towards our speakers tonight. And one of the questions that was asked is, sorry, I'm coming, 1 second. So one of the questions that was asked was from Basil. Basil, are you still with us? Let me see, is he still here? Yes. Basil, you're asking something. Sorry, I didn't answer that question back then. You said, were there times where you got an opening that was bigger than your level? From my own story, I remember that, I think that was where you're asking the question. So yes, there were times I got openings bigger, like a lot of times. And the only reasons why I got opportunities that were bigger than me was people at a particular point in my life, people started to think that I was better than, in my head, I'm thinking I'm low, like I was looking down on myself in a lot of things, but a lot of people were seeing more bigger potentials and they're giving me big responsibilities that were bigger than me a lot. And a lot of those openings were good. So I don't know if that answers your question, Basil, or you have another question towards what I was sharing that time. Basil, are you? Okay, you can speak if you have another question. Can mute your mic. Oh,
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Sir Samuel and esteemed speakers. Why I asked is there was a time where while I was training my students, one of my students happened to be a big boy. He had a lot of money, so and I didn't know. So during the course of our class, after the class, he chatted me up and was like, it was like, can you manage funds? That's like, can you trade with my money and give me a return from the investment? I was like, okay, so how much are you talking about? And I had 300K And personally, as a forex trader, I knew how to trade, yes, but then there was this, I felt that, okay, I've not gotten to the stage of trading with that volume of money or that amount of money. So I was like, okay, no, I cannot do that. And I declined. So I brought that question up to just to more like a verification if what I did was wrong or I was in track, because I know that sooner or later, some of those huge opportunities will be coming in. And personally, I'm not ready to trade some volume of money, some amount of money. No, I'm really not ready. Not because I don't know how to trade, but because of the psychology involved in trading, and the fact that you need to grow from one level to another. And then I'm not just growing in the skill, but growing in what you put into the market. Yes, and then secondly, I also want to ask, you said you quit your what's this skill again? Programming. You stop
Yeah.
programming after 3 years or coding. Okay. And I want to ask if you know what you if you know what you know now, then would you have quit? Like with the information you know about skill, about just everything you've learned about skill now, would you have quitted? Because I tend to, yes, I'm mentoring other forex traders, and I'm thinking, would there be a possibility where I'll have to tell one of my students or any of my students, guy, this forex thing is not for you. I think you should quit, because I wanted somebody quitting and then found his skill that he's doing better in. So I want to know, was it knowledge based? And I think I have one more question. Let me quickly get it, but then let me pause for now while I get the last question. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for that question. So I'm going to answer you, and also probably maybe I'll if I can get other thoughts from any of our speakers towards it. So one thing, especially in the aspect of things that are bigger than you. I rejected a 1.5 million naira what they call it, project. I rejected it. A programmer reached out to me and was like, it's a video editing project. So he wanted me to edit his course for him for 1.5 million, and I rejected it. And the reason I rejected it that period was I didn't like the work. And I didn't like the work, number one, and I didn't feel like it's worth it of my time and my effort. So I rejected that offer. And I think, have I rejected any other big offers? Some of them are smaller, like $200, $300 videos. There was a $300 video I told the client I'm not doing. So there are times at which wisdom, due to what your priority is, would establish you to reject some kind of thing. I'm very sure you know Nehemiah. Nehemiah is my best friend, and he has been trading for years. When he started trading, he was trading for other people, and he carried 900,000 and burnt it in trade. And he was now owing people 900,000 naira at that time, and 900,000 naira was big. And he regretted it. He went through a lot. Me as his best friend, both of us had to like come up with money to pay out those people that he was owing so that I can get him out of the shit. And since then, before you tell Nehemiah that, please, I want to carry 10 million, and there was a lady that wanted to give Nehemiah 3 million or 10 million. I know it was like 5 million for him to run trading for. Nehemiah rejected it because he said, for now, my capacity does not pass 1 million in terms of the things I can risk. So, especially in many things, you have to come to that understanding of what your capacity is. Like, that aspect is wisdom, and that wisdom can only come via experience. So then on to your next question about the transition of program. The reason I transitioned, as I told you, if I knew the things I know today, I would have not left programming. It's not like programming was bad. It's just that I didn't know how to market my skill as a programmer back then. And if I knew, I would have. But now there are times at which someone needs to leave something because that thing is not what some people enter for money. some people enter for some weird reasons. Some people don't have the patience, and the more you converse with those kind of people, the more you now realize that okay, there are some things that are not meant for them. So I'm going to throw the question to also our other coaches, Jonathan and John. What do you guys think, especially in the aspect of some things that people need to quit to start something? You know, like John Eche, you said something like we build on precept on top precept, like we build upon our previous experiences. But when would also be a time that you tell someone, bro, this thing is not for you, quit it, start something else? Like what kind of thing can bring that? Any of you guys?
Okay. There was a statement Jonathan made earlier. He said that there's many other things you can excel at, even more than the ones you are excelling at, if you give yourself the chance and you're committed to working on them, right? And that question, the forest guy asked about, funds management and the rest. I think it comes from you need to have a high level of self-awareness to know what is more than what you can chew, right? It you should have a level of self-awareness to be able to know that based on my growth, based on my psychology, based on my experience, I can't handle this level of funds trading,
But sometimes it
right?
can be low self-esteem. Sometimes some people are
Yeah,
looking down on themselves more than their actual capacity.
absolutely, it can, but I don't think, anyways, it can. It can work both ways. However, I would say since it's not a newbie, it wasn't like he was just starting. He was already trading and he had made significant progress. I personally have also had that experience. When you trade and people assume they don't see you like you're a money doubler, they don't understand the fact that, oh, you take a lot of losses. They don't understand the fact that you've had to hit stop loss, right? Many times. And they don't understand that sometimes you blow your account. They just focus on what could be if you help them work on whatever they had in mind. And so majority of them are not ready to also take losses. I'm speaking to the forest guy, right? Most of these guys that
Mhm.
have funds or they claim to have funds and they're looking for good traders, they may not be ready to take losses as much as you will be able to handle. And so turning it down might be a very good decision. And one thing I've learned is if you are consistent, you would always grow to meet people at your level of growth as you progress,
Yeah,
right? The FOMO, you know what they call FOMO, fear of missing out. It will rob
yeah,
you. If you see, this opportunity is life changing, I don't want to miss. What if it never comes again? That's trash. Better opportunity always have a way of finding you as long as you are growing, as long as you are
yeah.
improving, as long as you're not stagnant, you are definitely going to meet better opportunities and, of course, ones that can change your life better.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah,
knowing what you can do, it's not like people watching you on social media and say, I love your content, you must be smart. There are certain things I don't know. I tell my mentees, I tell my students, there are some questions you ask
it
me, I'll
takes
tell you
humility.
before God whom I stand, I can't help you on this matter. Go and meet my friend Jonathan. Go and meet my friend Joshua. Go to this person. They can help you. I can help you. But deep down, I know that the way they can help you will be far greater than what I can do. I know my
Yeah,
strength. I
yeah,
know my strength and I know my weaknesses that I'm building to reduce. All right. So I think sincerity and high level self awareness is something that all of us need to develop so that because look, let me say something. If you don't want to have, of course, if you're having fear of saying, oh, I don't want to have low self-esteem, let me take on this. There are certain things you may not get the chance to handle. And so if you lack the capacity to handle something, but an opportunity presents and you just jump on it and you make a mess of it, you know that it could rob you of much more opportunities that would come.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's actually better to just tell them maybe not this time, perhaps another time in the future we can work on this. But for now, I'm not sufficiently ready
Right, yeah.
to deliver the kind of results you want. And for our trader, you see, the thing is, when you reject such offers, you will now notice you will enter a winning streak. Every trade you take from that point, you'll be making money. So
You'll not be like, what? I wish I took that.
yes, your mind will not be telling you. Imagine you are trading with a 100K account. I'm just doing back-to-back profit. Ah, God, I would have bought a GLE. I would have relocated. I would have done this. And it's just psychology. Because
Yeah.
if you are taking the deal, chances are you enter with a losing streak, right? But then if you learn to manage your emotions and to know that this is life, as long as you're alive, you're improving, you're growing, you're going to be better opportunities. But it's best to always bite only what you can chew.
Yeah, very true, very true, sir.
So that
Um,
is what happened.
I think one of the things that prompted me to ask you about the self-esteem is because there was also a time the opposite happened to me. So which there was a senator in Abuja here. He wanted a video edit for this guy. He wanted a video edit for his wedding, and the wedding was a big wedding. Generals were coming for the weddings and all that. And his PA was the one that reached out to me and said, please, my boss is looking for a video editor for this. And he's willing to pay any amount. No, he didn't even tell me he's willing to pay any amount. I looked down on myself and I was like, oh boy, I can't, like, do I have the capacity to handle this? Video will be displayed in on a broadcast in front of huge generals. Like, do I have the capacity? I looked down on myself. And funny enough, guess how much I opened my mouth to charge? I look at myself, like, and because at that time in my life, I had not had the capacity to understand that, oh, people can charge huge for value. I opened my mouth and I said 30K for the video edit. The PA told me to he told me to shut up, like, because he's an ex-jam, so he knows us from military school. He was like, bro, shut up, I've seen your work, which one is 30K? Guy, don't charge. The PA of the man is telling me to charge the man 200K. And it was, and the man paid. Funny enough, the man did not argue any amount. You're like, okay, 200K, right? Take, just get it done. And that's when I realized, okay, sometimes you might find yourself in that, I'm too scared to take some risk. So there's a balance between what you can do and some things that you need to understand the reality of yourself.
Yeah.
So,
Another thing that would help is that probably you could have a caucus, have an inner circle of people around you. You know, there are certain opportunities I get. I know they are bigger than me, but I run it through my friends. I know they are bigger. I don't have the infrastructure to deliver this. I run it through my friends. You now realize that I was looking at my capacity, but what was needed to make it happen is just capacity, whether it was from me or from others. So we now outsource people, outsource professionals, outsource other resource, reach out to other resource persons, and we get the job done. So I think having that ability to know that no work, no opportunity is inherently bigger than you, it's a beautiful one. For example, for the trader, that opportunity may have been above your capacity, but there's a high chance if you have a mentor, a trading mentor, someone, you could recommend the person. So in that way, you are not the person who delivered the result your client was seeking directly, but at least you are the connection between them and their desired results. So having that is also very good. There are people you run through, right? There are people you run ideas to and say, oh, I got this job, it required this and that, and all. That would help. My friend mentioned, okay, he wasn't on this session. He wasn't on this session. But having people you run ideas through, it is actually a very helpful tip that will help you know what is beyond reach or what is just beyond your personal reach. And you know what they say, that no big success is achieved alone.
very true.
Even if the idea comes to you personally or the opportunity comes in personally, you have to also be aware. If you want to make something big, it probably would involve a lot of people. I gave an illustration at the place I was speaking, and I said if a medical doctor claims he's the only important personnel in a hospital, the hospital will be a mess.
Yeah. So could Jonathan, you have something to chip in?
So imagine a doctor sweeping
Okay.
the hospital, mopping the hospital, servicing the generator, cleaning the utensils, doing everything he needs in the hospital. The hospital will be a mess because we don't even have time to attend to patients.
Very true.
You see that? So he may be the number one personnel we think and relate with when we mention a hospital, but he's not the only important person that keeps the hospital running.
Yeah, very true,
You
sir.
understand? So having that mindset would go a long way
A
to
long way.
make it work. Yeah.
Sir Jonathan, you wanted to chip in something on that aspect.
Yeah, to be very honest, I've enjoyed the perspectives that have been shared. I just have a little addition to it. And John brilliantly mentioned it. A great part of corporate intelligence is not just to know how to get it done, is to know who can get it done.
Yeah.
We're at a time and age where you don't leave money on the table.
That's right.
In Abuja, we say you can do everything. You know, yeah, you are sons of God.
Bring deals, bring deals.
Involve me, you know, as much as possible. So you can't leave money on the table. You will realize also that the realm of I'm going to say it now. The realm of the success you seek is at the mercy of a risk you take. So if you play safe, you will get safe money. But you see, block comes by risk. So the idea is to master what I call the can. Let there be basic expertise. Let it be that it will take you more time. It's not that you don't have the wisdom, Sam, you know, it will take you more time, it will take you more, it will stretch you. But let it be that the distance between your skill level and your delivery level are not far apart.
True.
That's very fundamental. Because if money on the table, the money you are not taking is the money your computer is collecting.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
start recommending your computer.
let me exactly. So another way too is this. When it comes to high risk activity, high risk investment like this, if God wants to bless you, He allows people to believe in you beyond your credibility. So one thing I've realized is you must be willing to stretch. You must be willing to say, I don't have what it takes now. I can commit to this, but with a clear exit point. In my book, The Uncommon You, one of the chapters, I think the 10th chapter, I teach what is called the law of reversal. That there is a point where it is healthy and safe to exit a process. So when you collect that money, you are not going to use it to chill. You are not going to shut down. You're going to lock it up in a security vault and trade with the mindset or start dealing with the mindset that you have that money when you don't have it. I have a friend, he got paid like 500K for a gig. He locked all the money up, delivered the job before he started spending it. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, so that if they say he can refund you your money, you know.
That's wisdom.
That's his own mindset. So he's actually training your mind. He's the highest he has ever been paid. In fact, before he met me, he was being paid like 60, 70K. I told you cannot be collecting 60, 70K for this job. You are too good. So I told him charge 525. If you ever see my invoice can never be 400. My invoice can never be 400 or 300, 200. My invoice is only 487, 252, 253. Because it's great narrative that everything was covered. How did you arrive at the 3? I will tell you how I arrived at the 3. I'll tell you that there is an ecocentric plus that is 13,000. You know, that will be there. So even if I want to get 100K from something, I'll charge 111K. So the client, even if he bargains, he doesn't have the liberty to bargain beyond 100K. So you now say, let's leave it at 100. It's the 100 I wanted, So it's just on a psychological stuff. So that's a part of it. And finally, for me, you see, a great part of making money as a young person begins from a healthy mindset. Your finances can never grow beyond your mindset. If money still scares you, you cannot be wealthy. John taught me 2 years ago that money is a currency. That's why it's called a currency. The way he said it in, I can't remember, I get 2 or 3 ago. So money perpetually flows. So the best way to be poor is to overplace, like, how do I say it now? Too much value of money. Sometimes in your life as a young person, you would reach a point where you'd be like, do you have money? No. Are you spending money? Yes. You always get there. You may never have 100K, but you are solving problems of 150. Because money, we all make money one way or the other. Money is just passing our hands.
It's flowing in and out.
As we eat today, somehow you don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to drop. It happens. So in reality, let me say this, maybe to tingle your mind more. Do you know that the money you have is enough to give you the money you need? I did this. I mean, one financial conference, I'll come and maybe join that our meeting. We'll break that up. Go to your OP and see your in and out for this year and be wild.
You realize if they give you that money at once,
you're richer than you admit.
You don't know. You don't know. You like this. You have touched. I saw my 1 month in and out. 1 month. I showed myself.
Like, you're more than a millionaire.
1 month. I say, hey. When you now want to tell yourself you are stupid or you are silly, now check the balance.
What I got versus what I ordered.
So what I want, the reason I said all of that is to help you find the balance. Next time, create something. I used to teach in financial club. It's called residual income. The money is your own, but it is not your own. So look for a place you can throw away 5,000 to, throw away 2,000 to. It's your money, but you can't touch it. 2 things will happen to you as a consequence of that. First, you realize that problems are afraid of money. Your phone screen will never break if you have 500,000 in your account. It is the day your money is remaining 1,235 naira that your phone screen will break.
Very true.
So problems are afraid of money. You will realize that you will stop spending less money, spending money on ephemeral things. So if you have 15K, your bike, your car will never spoil. Problems come to embarrass us. That's the thing. Problem is supposed to bring you shame. So when you have money, problem is afraid of the money. I like the laugh in the chat. You guys are having fun, yeah? So my idea is have somewhere you keep money. I started my residual income as a student, 2K. So I just have that 2K, 5K, 10K. Okay. It's your money, they just drop. What it does is that it moves your mindset from survival to wealth building. So when next you have money, you're not saying food, no. It takes you from survival to wealth building. So you're thinking of multiplication, not thriving, not surviving, rather. And this is very important. Secondly, so I'll wrap up. Come on, people should come and pay me money. All right, let me. I do have this session is small. Currently, I'm finally. I have a fresh ball thing. You can send me. I have a system I teach on it. Maybe you can get it. I have a course. It's called Sustained: How to Keep It. Maybe you can get it. Sustained: How to Keep Money. So John has the first part. Sustained: How to Make Money. I have the second part. Sustained: How to Keep It. It's powerful. You can get it. You can just purchase it and listen to it. It's an audio pack for about 45 minutes to an hour. Sound stuff. my best teaching yet on financial discipline. I teach on acquisition, management, multiplication, and investment of wealth. Yeah, so you can get it and reach out to me and get it. So as a wrap up, one of the ideas, the reason I'm sharing this first is that it moves your mindset from survival to wealth by creating residual income, and that's what it does to you. Secondly, is that you now realize that your confidence to approach clients. Let me even say, do you know that if you're a 9 to 5er, if you have a job, your account balance determines the way you walk into the office on a Monday morning.
Very true.
You don't know. If you are broke, your confidence will not. It didn't day. Let's say you have times 3 or 3 months salary in your account. Do you think you can be depressed?
The confidence.
So I have realized that there are certain clients I can talk to with a certain flow, because I know that money you want to pay me is addition to what I have. But if the client is your all in all, you will do yes sir. You can stylishly do the yes sir. You know those things people do online. It's not. I don't. It's not like I need the money. You need the money, bro. You need the money. You need the money.
Let's be honest. Yeah.
You need the money. The idea is because you need that money to augment. And we all need money. Every coach needs money, right? I'm not saying needing money is a bad thing. I'm just drawing attention to the fact that
even Dangote same business.
we all need the money. But we all need money at different levels. That's what I'm trying to say. So it helps your confidence. If you have seen 1 million before, 1 million will not oppress you. You understand? Somebody cannot use 1 million and do you guy. So saving money. I teach people to learn saving. Not, people teach you that saving is the worst way. No, I don't teach savings as a way to be wealthy. I teach savings as a way to develop the discipline for wealth. If you don't have the discipline to save, trust me, you don't have the discipline to invest. You also have the discipline to manage large-scale resources. You're wondering why people have companies and they eat their company money. It's because they have not learned to save. If you do not live within the frame, if you cannot live within the frame of a chosen income, if you cannot live within a chosen income frame, that's the better way to say it. If you cannot live within a chosen income frame, you will not also, at your current level, you will also be able to live. You see some people who are flamboyant, drive cars, it's their company money they are eating it. They are not eating profit, it's capital they are eating.
Yeah.
So you know that many businesses now do not have a future.
No.
I had to learn that as a CEO. If 5 naira leaves I read today, 2-3 persons had to participate in that decision. I by myself created a structure that prevents me from touching the money. Yeah, it's just pure wisdom. So that we can do things. Have you ever seen us doing crowdfunding? Help us so that we can do hangouts. No, we don't do that. Because we create systems to actually execute it. All right.
Yeah.
Let me stop.
Thank you very much. Guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this whole session. I wish the whole thing can extend. I think we were meant to stop around 12, but it has been wonderful. By the way, this whole podcast is streamed on YouTube for those ones that don't know, so you can still go back and re-eat this whole thing. So I think this is where we'll be rounding up. I think there were some few questions, but I don't know if we can be able to handle them. Valor, you asked a question. Do you start to create visibility even at your beginning stage? That's for me. I spoke about this yesterday, about visibility and about documenting your beginning stage. So that was my session yesterday. So I would advise you to go back to yesterday's session. You can ask Coach Joshua in the group chat or something. And also it's on YouTube. So you can be able to go through it. I spoke exactly about this. I think final question for you, Sir Jonathan, before we close. This was from Basi. He said, my question is this: how do I overcome writer's block? You're the writer, so straight off. I find myself struggling with creating content for my niche and building my portfolio. Sir Jonathan, do you have anything to help with the question that Basi is asking here? And I think
Have
that
you, uh,
will.
have you met have you met my friend? He's a writer, Sir John. My God, powerful writer.
I have some writers here.
Okay, so Basi, I probably would want to have conversations with you so I can ask certain questions. Writer's block comes from many things. First is a sourcing problem or an endurance problem. It's a conversation that is very deep for me. People cut off from their sources of inspiration and expect to flow in inspiration. That's the session. If I stop reading, I've cut off from my source of inspiration. The reason I am perpetually inspired to write is because I'm perpetually reading. So, or like some of my mentees are on this call, and they tell me that when they attend one of my sessions, it's like it answers 20 questions for them, 30 questions. It's like they have clarity on different levels for them. So imagine that person now decides, okay, you have eaten too much, abba, who does he take himself for, and then they now stop coming for these sessions, and they now expect to still operate at that level. That's a joke. So you can't cut off from your sources of inspiration and expect to still flow in continuous inspiration. If you off tap, the hose pipe will not flow. That's one. Second is endurance. And that's something I teach personally now, because endurance is two ways: the ability to write long. And if you can relate to this, maybe give me a thumbs up. Some of you, your first two paragraphs are classy, powerful. But once you read paragraph 4, 5, 6, energy, Otilo, you now start wondering, this good thing I've written now, how do I even end it? All right. I have a section, how to write from scratch. Maybe you can consider getting it. All right. And maybe you can send me there and we'll talk about all of these things. How to write from scratch. And I teach endurance at the end, what it truly means. So to help you understand how endurance works, you must understand that writing is in seasons. So many people do not maximize their open seasons to write. Everybody experiences the writer's block, but the time is shorter, or you don't feel it because some people know how. I've written for 12 straight hours before, 12 straight hours writing. That's great. That's endurance. So if I can stay that long writing, it means that I'm different from somebody who cannot even spend 15 minutes writing. So I know something, right? This session is too small to show you, and I'm going to teach you. So what people can talk, send me direct message to be able to navigate from there. On a different note, I'm also realizing that people are morphing. I used to hear writers before. If you go online and type how to overcome self-esteem on social media, you will find over 20 posts with the same content written by different people, posted by different people, not written. One person wrote, the rest duplicated, and are sharing as their content. So the problem is you are going to not last if it's not in your voice. I'm not anti-AI. I'm a huge proponent of the AI movement. But the strength of an AI content is in the prompt. And the strength of your prompt is in your content. And the strength of your content is in your consumption.
Yeah.
You cannot just go and type on there how to overcome self-esteem and then copy and paste for us. You will never have the consistency you seek because it didn't come from you. If you don't connect to it, you won't stay at it. Let me stop there.
Wow, that was huge. Thank you. I think I can really relate to what Sir Jonathan is saying, because even in creating content, when I was doing a lot of tweeting stuff, I found out that the days that I am active in my work as a video editor, I always have something to post, content to post. Something happened in video editing, like I got a client, I spoke with this. The more you are inside in the midst of the things that you're doing, you find out that in terms of content, I never run out of ideas because there's always an event of something that is happening every day. But the days that I stop doing my work, I stop having things to post, to share. So it also applies to like even content and writing online. So thank you very much, guys. I hope you guys have all enjoyed tonight's sessions. Like it's so much. I wish we could continue, but like we spent like 2+ hours on this, and there's so much. And also, I really want to appreciate our guest speakers, Sir Jonathan, Sir John Eche, for making time out to be able to bring this to us. I also appreciate Coach Joshua. Unfortunately, his battery ran down while the interview was going on, so he had to excuse himself. But I appreciate everyone, and I really appreciate everyone that made it to the meeting. Thank you very much, guys, because I know these are the few people that are very intentional. Like the past days, we've been having 50 people around, but like when it comes to these times, a few people are, so those some people are engaged. But I appreciate every one of us that made out time to come for here. We have the recordings, we have the transcript of the whole session. Everything is written so that you can all get it. So by the end of everything, and also final note, we are going to be having games night tomorrow as to round up the conference. 8 p.m. tomorrow evening on the same call, we are going to have games night. Like it's going to be fun. We can't be doing all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So we are having games night tomorrow. So bring everyone. Like let us round this thing up in fun. So tomorrow 8 p.m. be available. I also invite Sir Jonathan, Sir John Eche, if you can make it time. Let us come and have fun and enjoy an enriching movement. So thank you very much, everyone that has been a part of this. And I hope to see every one of us and more other people tomorrow by 8 p.m. on the same Google Meet link. Thank you very much. I think this is where we'll call it an end. And have a great day, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Have a great day too.
Thank you very much.